What's up, guys, and thank you for stopping by my channel. Today's project is this 2-cycle Lawnboy mower, and the problem is that it won't start. Let's see if we can diagnose the problem and fix it. This was a free curbside mower, so I don't know much about it except for the fact that the ad stated that it had running problems. I checked beforehand that this mower did have spark, so let's go ahead and try and start it and see what happens. Well, unfortunately it didn't start, so let's go ahead and take a look at the carburetor. You don't have to take the top cover and the fuel tank off to look at the carburetor. I needed to take a look at the refuel, which I'm doing a video for in the future. As a side benefit, taking the top cover off also gives me more visibility while filming this video. Next, go ahead and remove the air filter cover and the foam air filter. The air filter is still very clean, however, I think it's supposed to be lightly oiled, otherwise it doesn't work very well. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, remove the two bolts holding the filter base and the carburetor assembly to the engine. And don't forget to reinstall this plate later on when we put everything back together. Next, disconnect both fuel line and the primer line from the carburetor. This whole assembly has been leaking gas, so it's extremely dirty. If we try to move the choke lever closed, we can see that it binds up and doesn't fully choke. This is obviously one reason why it won't start. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the throttle and choke cable from the airbox and take it into the garage and clean it. It's a whole lot cleaner now, and with the dirt and the grease gone, the choke seems to be working a whole lot smoother. Now that that's done, let's go ahead and take the 4 screws off the carburetor bowl and inspect the main jet. There is quite a bit of dirt on this screen, but not enough to keep it from starting. I'll clean it here in a little bit. You want to use a very broad, flathead screwdriver and carefully remove the main jet. And it looks like the jet is a little clogged, so we're going to use a small wire to clean out the jet. This would definitely keep the engine from starting. One more thing that I noticed was that the float is not properly adjusted. It's nowhere near the horizontal position that it needs to be to shut the fuel off. What I did was I used a pair of needle nose pliers to adjust the brass part near the pivot so that the float is more horizontal with the carburetor. If we didn't make the adjustment on the float, then the carburetor would always be starving of gas, as there wouldn't be enough gas making it inside the carburetor bowl. And now that everything is clean and adjusted, let's go ahead and reassemble the carburetor. Now very carefully reconnect the throttle and choke cable back to the carburetor and attach it to the airbox assembly with the bolt and the nut. Now reinstall the carburetor back onto the engine. Now be very careful, this part is very tricky to do. I think the hardest part for me is actually getting the governor flap on the carburetor back into its correct position before installing the bolts. Now that it's finally back together, let's go ahead and try starting it again. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have any comments or questions about your small engines, please leave them in the comments below. And please consider subscribing, as it really supports this channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video.